What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the market saying, hold your horses. Howdy there, partner. Some of these quarter-century rares seem just a hair too cheap. And I tend to agree versus the estimated value pulled. I've sounded like a broken record on this, but doing the math, there's only 3 quarter-century rares average per case, both EU and US. And with 25 different ones, that means you have to open 8 different cases total in order to see each individual quarter-century rare. Now, some of these have competition from inset ultimate rares or starlights, making them argued mid-maxes. That's why I've said, look at the ones original to the set, right? And Lubellion took off and did go along that line. And now also Assault Synchron is starting to do that. Very low on quantity, starting to go up on price. But one that I actually didn't think would be immediate, I thought it would be longer term, AA Zeus, a very cool card that has a model kit coming out that's official. Well, it is starting to go down in quantity and also really up in sales rates to where it's starting to bubble up in price somewhat quickly on that front page. So even being mid-max and having all these competitions from the ultimate rare going down in price, but its metagame uses and applications is kind of pushing its sales rates. But what about the ones that are spiking, right? Like actually moving? Well, it's a lot in the lower end. We covered Nessie doing that, but now Medolce Queen Tiramisu is, which I did find it odd that its quarter-century rare was under the unlimited ultimate rare. Now it's starting to pass that range but stay under the first edition, of course. You also have Tri-Edge Master, which is original to the set. I believe this was shouted out over on MST TV as a, look at this card, read it, it's a pretty good tech kind of thing. And that is Market Brain versus Player Brain, where it can pan out, but that being 1 per 8 cases, yeah, that's still going to end up being a card that's not easy to get if it does pop off into a metagame, so I understand why people are going for it, right? And then within the set itself, Zeus, yep, is starting to go up on that secret rare. Very low quantities, and people would rather have that than the 10 ultra rare. It matches the OG secret rare, right? But then the ultimate rare, if this goes up too much further, isn't far off from that, and you start this chain into, well, the quarter-century rare's been ahead. I think I'll get that, and that's already spiking right now. So this card being in the metagame and being hot in the metagame, that's going to really push it. But we're also in the WCQ season ending, thus we're about to go off into the cool off. We're gonna chill for a bit market into that fall competitive season that doesn't always move the meter as much, especially during reprint season. But I think Zeus is going to be one that sticks around, especially with that model kit coming. So not everything is like I called it. I wouldn't have thought it would be Zeus moving right now. I definitely would have called Assault Synchron with that future synchro support and that sort of stuff. It seemed like it was a bit too cheap to me versus the hype when it comes to that high rarity version. And then there's others that are eyebrow raising, like Super Poly does have an ultimate rare, and also, you know, it has a Starlight rare above it. But the quarter-century rare, its sales rate is incredibly low, and it'll be interesting to see what happens to a fan favorite card like this long time versus, you know, a much more actively used in the metagame. And this still appears in the metagame, by the way. Albaz, yep, am I right? Strictly Sealed has been on the channel as a partner for a bit now. Code What'sGood5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly, as well as, of course, his, because you'll be shopping his products, works. And I want to say that I really do love the binder. I've had it out for a bit now. I've been looking through it. I'm going to do a binder video eventually with one, and he's starting to sell out of certain colorways. So if you want one of these, I would get it sooner than later. But he also has brand new sleeves up that are super nostalgic, and he said in the description they're durable. I personally would only use these as binder sleeves because of the design on the back. I don't know if there are ways to identify versus the shiny or where different strokes of blue might be in the cutting sheet, but they look amazing in a binder and at a price that's like half of what a lot of custom sleeves would do. It's impressive that somebody was able to figure out distribution for something that looks like this, right? And it looks so good, especially on white binder pages. So again, code What'sGood5 for 5% off and support the channel directly if you want these really cool nostalgic sleeves he has on the site, as well as to try out his binders. Chaos Angels going up further. This is why I'm not a financial advisor channel. I don't don't know the future of card prices, where a meta is going to turn. I said this shouldn't be on top of Cyberstorm Access. It'll get replaced. We don't have Chaotical Magical Dragon of the oops. Look at it go. It keeps just trucking and is a $70 solid card right now. People are buying it up to that point, and yeah, it can be played in so many different decks, from Dragon Link to Mana Diem to Labyrinth. Anything that's making tens is looking at this, especially, you have to have the light or dark monsters. But seriously, it is a pretty good card, and I feel like I underestimated the ability for it to be made within the metagame, and there it goes, proving me wrong. I will eat my words on Market Watch whenever I'm wrong. I'm always down for that. Learning should be something you're not really ashamed to do. Now, Triple Tactic Thrust we just covered last time is continuing to go even further right now. I did mention, that cool off WCQ Overmarket will be there, but this is one of those cards that isn't up for reprint in the Megatons, so to have to be a set like Mavens 2, where would Konami be dropping that? They did release a product with sleeves in the OCG, like Zeus, Underworld Goddess, that we haven't got, but Rarity Collection is in November, so would they still drop Mavens 2 in December? We'll have to wait and see for something like that, and what would lead the charge in reprints. But yeah, this is going up even further right now, up into the 80s at the moment. Big Welcome Labyrinth, you should have seen this coming. With Welcome Labyrinth reprinted and easy access, Big Welcome out of Photon Hypernova is going a bit crazy, and if you want to play the deck, you probably want access to this card. So yeah, it's gone all the way up towards $6 over time from being, a $2 card, and I did tell you, if you wanted to play the deck, obviously you should get this when it was like low. Stygian Street Patrol first editions are really, really up. 4-in-1s are towards 15, which is above market price, and the rest are like 20 plus for first. People are quoting the Jack Atlas deck, maybe wanting to play this, being able to special summon a fiend type monster, etc. I think that is pretty good overall for the deck, probably, and I mean, I haven't labbed the deck or anything, but it's what people are quoting, and it does make sense to me. I wanted to show this, actually, because I came across it, and I was like, whoa, that's up. Wait a minute. I covered that. Actually, it's not selling. Look at Visas here after the buyout mode, and this is what happens sometimes. We're here, a week plus later versus the buyout. Some people spent all the way $300, $345, going crazy, or did they? Maybe they actually just took the fees. That's what's hard to tell on a platform, is incentivize sales to try to get people to stampede for a card for more versus that market price. Like if somebody had a ton of them, maybe they can get you to buy them, right? But nobody's listing a ton right now either, so that math doesn't necessarily line up in full, right? But my point is, this got bought out, and like Starlights often do, it's slowed. But now Starlights are even more speculated on, as I think I'm going to stay away till all those quarter century rares are done. Let's see what all comes out, how many come out, what's going to happen. Me personally, I'm theorizing that quarter century rare could be around till the next Megatons, and they do the rivals like Kaiba and Blue Eyes versus that Dark Magician, right? They have some rivals in there, but not a ton, or not the main ones, it feels like. So I could see it being around for a good amount of time, and a good amount of them being out there. But again, it's not going to be like panic, oh my gosh, it's up, I better get mine while it's up. The market started to adjust. They've seen the trends of it gets bought out, it comes back down, then people decide to buy out or not. It's not often a double, triple, quadruple down buyout on Starlight rares, right? Like, it does happen once in a while, but the market has seen trends with how Starlight rares get bought out and then sit there at times, and then they come back down over months until they move again from some kind of hype. So Starfrost is going through that, starting to creep back down under what people have spent, and it is interesting to watch, right? Because it's still way up versus that. But where will the sales be at after the storm? Rescue Ace Hydrant is something to be aware of. If you didn't know, the collector rare is at $6.9, nice. As well as, the ultra rare being pretty up in price over time, up towards $18 freaking overall. It's doing really well in the OCG. A lot of people anticipate that will be doing very well in the TCG, and I don't disagree. I think it is a really cool underestimated deck where that next level support and mix and match stuff it does seem like it could translate to ours. So people have been buying into this like crazy, and it's bubbled up to that point with actual sales rate. Zombie Warrior, I did not know was up. I always pull out the OTS, vanillas like that back in the day before it was popular, and the Ready Fusion's a thing too. It's up towards $20 here, lowest, with somebody actually biting into that, and a lot of people going for it. Apparently with the Punk engine, you go into a zombie synchro that's pretty good at like Foolish's stuff. So there's basically combos in zombie, and you can play zombie Punk because Punk just goes into everything, right? But being level 3 mixes pretty well with that. So be aware that people are looking at this as Insta/Ready Fusion kind of stuff, and zombie getting new support in the future is why it's bumping. I wanted to talk a little market conspiracy theories here to a degree, because we have these coming out, right? The legendary, 25th Legend of Blue Eyes, Metal Raiders, etc., and they're sealed booster boxes, and a lot of people's plans are to sit on them sealed, while others are going to tear them up like crazy for that nostalgic feeling and to feel good for a minute and then get some cards. And the cards aren't worth all that much versus the return that's likely in these boxes, and we don't think there's quarter century rares if they are the same as the legendary collection, but maybe they do get something like that in the set. We haven't seen. We'll have to wait and see. But what is happening right before these are, which will up the population of a ton of the cards in the new style foiling, which was their first print in legendary collection, are buyouts in the secret rare range. Gaia jumped from $3, which it had come down a lot, to market price $6 and lowest listing $11. Same for Trihorn Dragon, down towards $5, all of a sudden spiking up, going towards $11. Are these just poorly timed buyouts, or are people trying to create a little bit of a stampede into this product coming out so it could sell a little better? I don't know that that fully tracks, because like $10 isn't enough, but they could hope that other people finish the buyout after them. Also, personally, seeing $3 Gaia the Dragon Champions, I'd go, that's pretty good. Under $5, I might want all of those if I was still a vendor bro, right? So I don't blame people for buying into that price, but up to 10 did seem like a bit much to me. I always set my margins where I'm going to go with it, and with looming, let's say there's 2 secret rares per box, new style boxes, like the pop of these is going to go way up for the new style foiling. So very interesting, the timing of the buyout, where it's not moving necessarily on other sets. Thousand Dragon here for $5, pretty readily available through the front page, but goes up from there. And Genzo, every single card almost has a graph like this, it feels like, for the most part, besides what I just showed. Like, it started out higher and it's down versus how it initially was doing and received. Delinquent Duo, for example, it felt a bit high because it was above other counterparts that are older or similar, and it's come back down towards $22, $24, and that's the average sales. So I feel like with the timing of the buying of these, it does feel like a little push towards the product, and LOB is the most anticipated. I will say, however, though, I do believe that this product will not have full orders in the EU, UK areas, where they're not going to fully fulfill what people did order at first. I had talked to Tier 0, they're having trouble getting their full allotted amount, but I believe they, pre-order estimate for a comfortable amount to fulfill orders usually, right? So when it comes to this, it'll be interesting to see. I've heard zero about that in the US. If that international demand ends up eating into our demand, and people find that pathway, especially with the upcoming Rarity Collection, which is like, 75%, I'd have to do the math, 66% the MSRP of the UK version right now. So there's a difference there too, and with differences in products happening like this / different distribution of products, it's going to be an interesting ride to watch and see where things are going to go. But again, that's going down a bit of a rabbit hole where I like to watch that kind of stuff, and that's why it's a market watch. Thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. A bit of meta, a bit of modern collectible, a bit of, a sponsored sellout code, What's Good 5 for 5% off, and to support the channel directly. Thank you all so much.